Even when the dark comes crashing through,
And when you need a friend to carry you,
and when you're broken on the ground.
So much. Good morning, every single person that is here. Good morning, Dami. Good morning, Happiness. Good morning, Anita. Good morning, Maggie. Good morning, Itunu. Good morning, Wura. Good morning, Nurat. Good morning, Gracious. Good morning, Ede. Do I have every single person here? I don't see the YouTube guys because I wish I could see everybody, but I have my Zoom guys because I feel like they always get the best side of me. Good morning, every single person here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I feel like I'm the one. I've been learning from you guys because I was listening in excitement, and you guys think I'm here to mentor. I feel like we're all here to learn from each other. Good morning. Good morning. I want to hear a good morning blast from everybody. So we make sure that everybody's not sleeping, literally. Can I
Good
just hear?
morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, I hear somebody on the road, but I'm happy that you're on the road and that you're here. The most important thing is that you're listening. I'm very happy about the introductions. I'm really, really, really excited. I want to say, I wish I could just say welcome to 2025 for every single person that is here. Like I could say Happy New Year, you know. And I want to say thank you for coming alongside me on this journey because for me, I don't know how to say it, but happiness, everybody knows happiness. And can we just say thank you to happiness? Happiness is, I feel like for her, she just wanted to shout it out for everybody to get so much value from this. She's so eager to learn. But I'm just so happy to be here. Happiness was literally pushing me, saying, you can do it. Because I thought to myself, my schedule is too busy. I can't do it. And she's like, no, you have to do it. You have to. But yes, welcome to Manifest 2025. I'm truly, truly happy. I'm just going to clean my video. I'm truly happy to be here. It's such an honor. Thank you for giving me the next, I would say, 1 hour of your time, 1 hour, 30 minutes of your time. I've been listening to all the introductions in the background. And for me, it's just exciting to be able to be a blessing to every single person here. So I'm going to start today by asking a very interesting question. For me, I know that you guys have said a lot of what you want to hear. For me, I'm going to start today by talking a lot about, what is manifest? And I want to ask you guys to put it in the chat for me. What does manifesting mean to you? Because I feel like it's such a big word. And I never want you guys to see this. This is not really one of those, I'm here talking to you, telling you how you need to do what you need to do, and then you're going away. No, in this session, I'm very real. In fact, I'm always so real. I remember when we did the first one was 2 years ago. I intentionally kept it as a closed meeting because I wanted to tell people the real truth, the real me. I wanted people to learn from me. I say to people that I am not there yet, but I am a journey. But one thing I always say, and when people ask that, how come you're able to look back and help other people? I say, look, why would you wait? Why would you wait to get to your destination before you look back and help other people? You need to be able to take other people with you along the way. So I'm not there yet. And the truth is, I remember even from the last session 2 years ago, I was happy, that it was a small group because I was able to be intentional and learn from these people. But the goal also is for you to be able to take something away from it. You must be able to take something away from it. So I want people to put in the chat. I want to hear the word manifest means to me, achieving my goals. Manifest means to me, I don't know, whatever. What does that mean to you? What does manifest, the word manifest mean to you? Thank you so much. I'm looking at Gracious. Gracious says manifest means bringing something into fruition, making it happen. Manifest to me means calling things into existence. Fantastic. I love that word. Any other person that says manifest, what does manifest mean to them? Morning, Toju. I think I didn't see Toju's name. What else? Anybody else? Anyone else? Okay, and while I'm waiting for the message, I'm gonna play a little game with you guys. Manifest is evidence of action. Manifest, Maggie said, manifest acting those things. To me, it means showing workings. That's interesting. Acting those things that be not as though they were. I love that. That is me as well. Any other comments? Any other comments? Okay. Okay, I'm going to start today by throwing a game for you guys. So it's going to be a game, right? A very interesting game. A game of pictures is the word, pictures. And okay, I think maybe I should share the pictures because I'm going to throw pictures up and I want you guys, if the team has the pictures, I want you guys to guess the age I was in those pictures. I'm going to throw pictures up and I want you guys to guess the age. The age that I was. If they have it, okay, I'm not sure they do. Okay, whilst I wait for those pictures, I want to talk to you guys about a question that is very, very unique. And the question is, what is your story? This is really where I am going to start from. What is your story? Now, I always ask that question in my first session, and everybody always says this is the one that they enjoy the most. What is your story? Because sometimes when people see, I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I see a lot of I would say successful people, the first thing I think to myself is these people probably had it all made up. Maybe they had like somebody that was helping them. Maybe they had like they were born with a silver spoon. Maybe everything was all set in their life. They already knew that everything was going to be okay. That's how I used to see a lot of successful people. When I was in my 20s, I used to think that they had the best help, they had the best hands, and so these odds were already set against me. That's how I used to think to myself about people, successful people. But as I grew older in life, I realized that you're not your story. Like, so you as a person, everybody has a story. Every single person has a story. And so you're not your person. And so your story depends on where you are, where you're coming from. There are different parts of your story. So there are three sides of your story. Thank you, Happiness, for that picture. You can hold it up for 1 second. There are three sides of your story. There is where the story, you know how they say that there's a part of your story where you have no control over. You have zero control over it simply because it's maybe the way you were born. You have no control about the way you were, how you were born, the education that you had. You have no control over even the school you went because your parents were the ones that decided that school. You have no control over up to a certain stage in your life. You have zero control over it. And so I say to people, that is the first side of your story. You have no control. Maybe, for instance, you were born, you were adopted, or maybe you were born and the situations were set against you. You couldn't pay for your fees. Things were tough. That is a side of your story. Nobody has a control over it. God predetermined it. If anything, not only God, but your parents also had an impact on that side of your story. So that is one side of your story. Your story from the beginning, one side. The second side of your story is what is happening to you now. In this instance now, and I hate to say this to people, but it's a hard truth. What is happening to you right now? It's actually not dependent on your parents, especially when you hit your 20s. It's now dependent on you and the actions that you are taking. So for instance, I'll give you a classic example. I'm a very early riser. Like I rise so early. As a classic example, the fact that I'm an early riser is 5 a.m. where I am. So I'm not in Lagos. It's 5 a.m. So imagine it's 5 a.m. I'm wearing makeup. I'm all dressed up in this chair. For me to rise up at 5 a.m. to be in a meeting at 5 a.m. that means I probably woke up at least an hour or 30 minutes earlier. yesterday I was talking to a friend, and it's a holiday where it's a holiday. I live in Canada. It's a holiday where I am right now. And my friend was saying to me, "Oh, I'm going to spend the next 1 week sleeping in and all of that." And I said to her, "Well, I always rise early." She's like, "Oh, your kids are on holiday. Are you going to be waking up late?" I'm like, "No, I rise early. It doesn't matter what's happening. I'm an early riser." And the point I'm trying to, and she said to me, "Does you need to give people a master class on rising early?" I'm like, "Well, I understand that the first part of my life, I could not control it. This part of my life, what is happening to me right now, I am the one that can control it as well with the hand of God. With the hand of God and with my own decisions, I control it. I determine what happens to me. So if I want to spend my mornings in bed, first, in my bed, I will determine what happens in that day. Yes, there are circumstances that maybe might determine what happens to you in reality. Maybe, for instance, your education, so you're limited by your job, or even your what's it called, your education, or maybe circumstances of where you're living, you can't afford to move out of your parents' house or whatever. Yes, those things are real, they're real. But how you show up to live that life is determined by you. So you might be living in your parents' house, or you might have a job that maybe you don't like, but who's going to move you from that job you don't like to the future that you're going? It's not your parents. It's the decisions that you make, the decisions that you make as a person. And it's not the big decisions like, oh, I'm going to go and do a master's. No, it's not those big decisions. It's not, it's the tiny decisions like I'm going to wake up early every day, maybe because I want to have time to read, or I want to have time to read my Bible, or I want to have time to meditate, or I want to have time to think about where I'm going. So, yes, I'm in a situation where I cannot control where I am at. I'm leaving my parents' house. I don't like my job. I want to progress in life. What is happening to me right now is a factor of the decisions that I'm making. So I tell myself, I'm an early riser. It's simple because I have things I want to achieve in my life. And unless I rise up early, those things are not going to be achieved. So that's the second part of your story. What is happening to you right now? What is happening to you right now? And that is partly determined by you. The third part of your story is how your story is going to end up. So how is it going to end up in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years is also determined. In fact, I hate to say this, is majorly determined by you. So whilst the first part is determined by your parents, the second part is determined by your parents or life circumstances. The second part is determined by half of it is determined by you, because maybe you've been shown a dice in life that is not nice in your 20s and you're like, look, this is my dice in life. But half of what's happening to you right now is determined by you. Where you are going to end up and how that story is going to end up is majorly determined by who? Majorly determined by you. So I could probably say the first part of your life, maybe you only have 5% input in it. The second part of your life, maybe 50% input or 35% input. The end of your life, majority of how it's going to turn out is determined by you. 75% is determined by you. So what does that mean? How my life is going to look when I'm 60, 70, 80, 90 is determined by what I am doing right now, in this instance, in this moment. And so if you understand that what is your story has three parts, it would help you begin to think, oh my gosh, okay, yes, maybe I was molested growing up, or maybe and that is not to downplay anything, because today is International Women's Day. That is not to downplay what happened to you at the beginning of your life. Or maybe you were maybe your parents couldn't afford the life that you wanted. Maybe you didn't get to go to the best schools. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. That is what happened. That was your story. But today, what are you doing to change that story today, in this instance, right now? Are you stuck in, oh, okay, Sarah, this is what happened to me. Oh, and so I cannot move myself forward. Or today, in this instance, what are you doing to move the boat of your life forward? And lastly, how is that story going to end up in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years time? How is that story going to end up? Remember what I asked you. Today is a fundamental question. What is your story? What is your story? How is your story now? What is your story now? And how is that story going to end up? 3 parts to every story. And it is mostly determined by something very small, decisions. And I'm going to recap this later. Determined by something very, very small, decisions. And it's not the big decisions, it's the small decisions. The small decisions like, what am I doing daily? Or the small decisions like, even remember the first part of your life was decisions that your parents made. So somebody made those decisions for you. But right now it's determined by decisions. Little decisions that you make every instant impacts what happens tomorrow. And I will give you a classic example before I request for my pictures and we play a little game before I carry on. I remember today, and I'm in this meetings, I'm very honest with people. Today, I woke up late. Remember, I said it's 5 o'clock, 5 a.m. where I am. For me to be here, I literally, if I have a meeting, or I start my days typically at about 3:45 every day, 3:45 a.m. Now, for me to be here, I had told myself I gotta be up by 3 a.m. at the most 3 a.m. Or that's what I said to myself, right? Happiness woke me up at past 4 a.m. and which never happens. Never, it never ever. Like happiness knows, maybe I've been late for somebody put a face up for 3:45. That's me. And I will explain the reality to you guys because that's a decision that I've made. Happiness woke me up at past 4 and I literally flipped out of the bed. I was like, oh gosh, how did this happen to me? But this is me being real to you because you guys are my men and you were thinking, why is she not here? My point is, what time do I sleep? That story, I will tell you what time I sleep. Now, my point here is that you have to, unfortunately, last night, as I was going to bed, when I got home, my body clock works in a very funny way. No matter what time I sleep, every 4 hours I wake up. It's just the way my body clock is. Now, after 4 hours, my body might choose to slip back, but I always wake up every 4 hours. Maybe because I have kids. I have 3 young kids. I don't know why, but I always wake up every 4 hours. So when I got home yesterday, somebody said to me, Dotun, set an alarm clock for 2:30 because you want to wake up. And I thought, oh, I'm going to go to bed at 11. Definitely, I'm going to wake up at 3 a.m. There's nothing that's going to stop me from waking up at 3 a.m. And that one decision, it cost me because obviously I woke up at past 4 because, and this is back to how my body clock works, I fell asleep at 11:30 a.m., 11:30 p.m. And so I woke up at about 4. So my point here is, if only I had made a decision last night to set an alarm, and this is for you to know that sometimes you keep learning. I hadn't trusted my body clock to wake me up 4 hours later, right? I definitely would not have overslept. Now that's a very flimsy joke question. I will tell you all the questions I have at the bottom. Don't worry, I will answer your question during this session. But my point here is a simple decision not to set an alarm clock because I was trusting my body clock to wake me up is what made me wake up late. It sounds flimsy, but it makes you understand how what happens to you tomorrow is determined by what you do today. And how your story is going to end up. Remember, how is your story going to end is determined by what you're doing now. So all those excuses that you are making, is going to affect where you are going to end up. All those, whatever, is going to affect where you are going to end up. I'm telling you that. It's very critical. Now, let's rewind. So if you're ready, let's play a little game. I'm going to ask for pictures. And in these pictures, what I want to ask you guys is I want you guys to tell me how old you think I was in the pictures. Happiness, I think you have the pictures mixed up, but it's fine. We will work with it. I want you to tell me how old you think I was in those pictures. So let's play a little game. I'm ready for the game. Okay. How old do you think I was in each of these pictures? Question. The one on the left and the one on the right. I'm waiting for message. I want messages. We can't see. They said they can't see the pictures. 24. So on the left, I was 24. Who said I was 24 on the left?
I did. Told you.
Told you said I was 24. Who said okay, on the right? What about on the right? On the right, 25 on the left, on the right. Okay, I'm waiting for suggestions. 25. Okay.
I meant the right.
Okay, you meant the right. I was 25. Okay, fantastic. That's great. It's okay. It's fine. I don't mind. Okay, any other question? If you want to unmute, that's fine, or you put it in the chat. On the right, I was 30. On the left, 24. Okay, that's fine. Next picture, please. Actually, not next picture. Let's go backwards. So I'll give you the answer. On the left, somebody got it right. On the left, I was actually 23. On the right, on the left, I was 23. On the right, I was 35. On the right, I was 35. On the left, I was 23. Next picture. Okay, this one is going to be a very fun guess. I want people to tell me how old I was on the left picture, on the middle picture, and on the right picture. So you can just do 1, 2, 3. So picture 1, how old was I? Picture 2, how old was I? And picture 3, how old was I? Somebody said I can only see the middle. Maybe because you're using your phone, you might want to tilt your phone landscape. Anybody? I'm waiting for chat. Picture 1, how old was I? Okay, I'm reading the chat. This is going to be a funny. You guys are so funny. Left, 36. Seriously? Middle, 28. Last, come on, guys. Seriously. Okay, this is funny. Left, 30. Okay, picture 1, 26. Middle, 15. Picture 3, 29. My gosh. 127. You guys are really, really unbelievable. 127. Picture 3. Okay, I give up. Okay, I'll tell you guys. Picture 1, I was 19. 19. Picture 2, I was 17. And picture 3, I was 18. So I was in my teens. 19, that was my first year in, I think, foundation before university. I was 19. Picture 2, I was 17. And picture 3, I was 18. So back, Kat, is that somebody saying, wow. Next picture, please. Next picture. I like this game. It's funny. You guys are making me even feel, I would say a bit old. Like, okay, I don't want this one. This is the last one, but it's fine. There was a particular picture I was looking for, and I wish you guys had it. She doesn't have it. I don't need this one. Okay, you can guess how old I am. Well, she doesn't have it. There was a picture I was looking for. I was going to share that with you guys. My point here is, and if Happiness has the old pictures, I don't mind if you can bring them up, please. I would start speaking in the meantime. And you can leave this slide if you want. My point here is that, and I'm going to start, you see, the way, there's a myth that people say, there's a myth I used to hear people say, and that's what I want to correct. You have to get it sorted in your 20s. People say, when I'm older, I will begin to do that. When I am this, I will do that. When I am this particular age, that is what I will do. Happiness, if you can get me the pictures. Now, the point I'm trying to say here to you is, there is nothing like when I am older. It is the same you when you're in your teens. It's the same you when you're in your 20s. It's the same you when you're in your 30s, it's just the same you that is going to live that one life throughout the entire time. How you show up every day is going to affect what happens the rest of your life. And I need, if they can show that picture that has 3 people, how you show up every day is going to affect what happens the rest of your life. Now, there's a reason why I'm saying this, and I'm going to tell you my own story. I will tell you what my story was, what my story is, and where I am going. And it probably will make you understand why she wakes up at 3:45 in the morning, because that's ridiculous. My point is, I remember when I was 19, people used to say to me, life is not this serious. It's not that serious. What is it? Like, you're too young to be making tough decisions and being so tough on yourself. And one thing I remember, so backstory, let's go to the middle picture, and I'm going to connect several dots inside one. I found God when I was I think when I was 17. It was actually around this middle picture time. I was 17 when I found God, 17, 18 when I found God. And it was funny because for me, I was raised in a Christian home, right? My parents are Christian. I was raised in a Christian home, but everybody has that one story when you're like, look, when are you going to decide that you're going to serve God? There's one thing for your parents to raise you, which is the first side of your story, but when are you going to decide that this God thing is for you? And I think it was around the middle picture time where a friend of mine had invited me to a youth church, and I had just experienced God in a very, very different way. Before that, I would say I was on a different trajectory. Now, if I give you a backstory, it will make you understand this even more. I wasn't, in fact, I joke about it. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. So a lot of my friends always say, or people say, oh, maybe she was born with a silver spoon. No, in fact, maybe there was a plastic spoon in my house. You say some people are born with silver spoon. Maybe when I was born, maybe there was a plastic spoon in my house. Maybe a wooden spoon, maybe a paper spoon. But I always say there was even no spoon in my house. But let's be real and let's just say there was a plastic spoon. For me, when I'm the fourth, I'm the last of my mom, the fourth of, and there's a reason why I'm telling you guys the story, because remember what I asked, what is your story? I'm the last of my mom, the fourth. That I have 3 older siblings. When I was born, and I'm the third girl, so do the math. Third girl, there are 4 of us. Shortly after I was born, plastic spoon. Yeah, shortly after I was born, and when I was born, it was a very humble family. If you know Lagos, my parents, we lived in Shomolu, very, very humble, very, my father was a banker, just starting his career. My mother was an elementary. In fact, at the time, she was a trader. She used to trade. Her shop was in Mushin. So that's another side of my story. Her shop was in Mushin, if you know Nigeria, which is a very funny part of a very rural part of Lagos, right? She was a trader, but she was initially an elementary school teacher. She used to teach in a public school. I think she had quit her job while she was pregnant for me because the stress was a bit much or something like that. And she decided to open a shop trading in Mushin, a rural part of Lagos, right? So forget all this English. My father was just climbing up the ladder of his career. He was working in the bank. I was born as the fourth of 4 children, the last. Now, okay. Now, the point is, I'm trying not to be distracted by the chat. Shortly after I was born, and a wonderful family, when I was 3, sadly and unfortunately, my parents got separated, right? They got separated, and it wasn't a very nice separation. My father immediately remarried. I had a stepmom, and because of that, I have I have siblings. So I actually have 4 younger siblings. I'm amazed. I love my siblings so much. I have 4 younger siblings. But at the time, it was a very messy separation. Now I'm older, I can see things differently. But it was a very messy separation. My mom had to restart her life from ground zero. So whilst my father was climbing up his ladder, he was, I mean, we had then moved to our own house in another part of Lagos, and I will tell you where, in Agege, so you understand. If you know where Agege is, my parents had built their house, but I think shortly after they built their house in Agege, they then they had marital issues. They got separated. My mom had to restart her life. My father was then doing very well in his career. By the time I was 4, they were living 2 separate lives, right? And it's funny because I say to people that this is probably the best side of my story that I love so much, because my mom was then living in Surulere, another rural part of Lagos. My mom was living in Surulere. Her shop was in Mushin. So if you know Lagos, you probably will understand these pieces very well. Very rural, very low down, dirty part. My mom is living in Mushin in a 2-bedroom apartment. In fact, the apartment used to be a garage. The landlord changed it from a garage to an apartment because they wanted more money. So my mom and I went to school. I went to a Catholic primary school. So my parents were also very big on education, right? Very, very big. So my father believed in sending us to the best, paying for the best education, because obviously he was the more financially stable one. So my mom restarted her life. She was living in Surulere. Her siblings helped her rent an apartment in Surulere. And because I was the youngest, so I spent a lot of my time with my mom. But my father was still living in the big house in Agege. Now it's funny, and then by that time, I think my father had become like a manager in the bank. He had grown, he had risen to the highest, I mean, a really top level in his career. Now it's funny because I hated this side of my life as a child, but this side of my life is what has formed me today. What happened is Monday to Friday, I would be with my mom in Surulere, going to school in Yaba, going to her shop afterwards in Mushin. Monday to Friday, we would take the bus sometimes, the yellow and black bus sometimes. And then on Friday, and my neighbors were always so confused. In fact, they used to think my mom was like an aristo somebody. On Friday, if you know what aristo means, like had a sugar daddy. On Friday, my dad will send his driver with a really nice car to pick me up so I could spend the weekend with him, myself and my siblings. My siblings at some point went to boarding school. So sometimes it became me alone or my sister. On Friday, they will pick me up and I will spend the weekend until Sunday with my dad. The point here is I lived double lives. You know, I say somebody has like double lives. Monday to Friday, I was this rural, girl who lived in Surulere. I will fetch water with a bucket. I will help my mom. We would enter the bus sometimes. My mom's car was really humble, very nice, small car. I would go to school in Yaba. After school, my mom would take me to her shop in Mushi so I could relate with all those Mushi kids. Like, trust me, it was real. It was as real as it got. And then on Friday, my dad will send his driver with a nice car to pick me up. And I would spend my weekend with him. Now, as I grew older, obviously the circumstances will change. My summer holidays will be broken into 2. I will spend 1 month with my mom, and I love my mom so much. I was so close to her. And then I will spend 1 month living the life in air condition, in a chilling house, with all the food and everything that you wanted to eat and everything. I hated it at the time. Obviously, I had a stepmom. Things were different. It was so confusing for me. I didn't like it because it was almost like I didn't belong, because with my friends in my school in Yaba, I was still that kid that still dressed well because my father will travel and buy me nice clothes. But my friends couldn't understand it because you are with us in Yaba and your mother's shop is in Mushin. Why do you dress well? And then with my friends in my dad's side, when I saw my cousins, you are still that kid whose mother's shop was in Mushi, and you are still with us, hanging out with us as your cousin, but guess what? You are not always here. So I didn't like it. And I remember one of my family friends even made a joke about it one time and said, we don't really know where you stand. Where do you stand? I hated it because I couldn't, you couldn't place. I didn't belong. And so for me, what it meant was I didn't have a lot of friends because I just couldn't find the right place to, I couldn't spend enough long time in the right place, and I couldn't find the right place to belong. You know what I mean? There was something not right about me, you know? Now it's funny because I remember, and I know you guys like stories. If anybody's enjoying the story, just let me know. There's a reason why I'm telling you guys these stories. I remember when, as I slowly got older, sorry, let me start as usual. As I remember that as I slowly got older, what then started to happen to me was I began to question, you know, you have a lot of identity crisis, you're questioning yourself, you're asking. In fact, it then, maybe my reality became stable when I got into secondary school. Because in secondary school, my father then went through a financial situation just when I was in beginning of high school, GS1, where I went from being in a private school, my father couldn't afford it. He went through financial difficulty. He had gone into entrepreneurship. I went from being in a private school to there was no school because my parents couldn't afford it. And then my mom had to, in a hurry, get me into a public school. So the joke, for instance, with my friends, I went to public school. So if you know Model College, and those some of you here might know Model College in Nigeria, Igbonla, I went to school in Ekpe because that was the school that my mom could afford to take me. Now, and my father was going through financial difficulty. Now, when I got to middle school, my dad wanted to take me out because his financial circumstances had gotten better. And these stories I'm telling you is not specific to me, specific to my siblings and I, because we were all like that. But it made a very significant value in who I am today. That's why I said, what is your story? Because it forms who you eventually become, but there are things that you can take from it and learn from it and don't stay in that story. When I got into middle school, my father then things started picking up for my father. He sent my younger siblings to private schools, and he had a conversation with my mom saying, I want to take this girl out of this public school. And my mom said no, because he said, she's been through too many changes. She's finally stable. It doesn't matter that you can afford a private school. You need to leave her in this public school. It was a government school. It was so hardcore. And maybe I will share pictures of it in the next session. It was so hardcore. And once again, even in that public school, I didn't fit in because I had the nice things, but I was in a public school, right? My father would travel, and I was in a public school. So it didn't make sense to people. Eventually, I did finish in a public school. Now, shortly after finishing from public school, I then started university. I went to Unilag for like 1 year. And then Unilag had a strike. And whilst that strike was going on, my father woke up one day and said, oh, you know what? I think he just didn't like the fact that I didn't have the opportunities that he wanted me to. And so he chose to send me abroad. So when I was 18, going on 18, when I was 18, that was the year he said, if I didn't even know that he was going to send me abroad, I literally, my siblings called me and said, Dad has decided that you're not going to stay in Nigeria, but he's going to send you abroad. Now, and I think that was around this first picture. That was my 19th birthday. I had just transitioned from in Unilag to schooling in England. And for you to understand, the joke with my friends used to be, because a lot of my friends went to private schools. When we're joking, everybody's like talking and they're like, Dotun, don't even talk because you went to a public school. We don't even know how you ended up here. How did you end up here? Wow. Because people from the school that you went to, they don't even talk when we're talking, you know, because a lot of my friends went to really top, big high schools, you know. So they used to joke around and say, everybody's talking, so please don't talk because you should not even be in this conversation because the school you went to does not even count. But my point here is, and around that time was when I found God. And there were a lot of things going on. But remember what I said, I'm one person, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I spent a lot of my holidays doing odd things like fetching water, or maybe in my dad's house, dealing with politics of, how you have a stepmom or you have family, a lot of extended family around. So my upbringing really meant that the way I thought was very, very different. But I knew to myself how I didn't want to end up, right? I knew to myself that if I had the chance to change things, I wanted to be intentional about how, for instance, when I marry, my marriage had to work. I had to make it work because I didn't want my children to go through the things that I went through, right? I also knew, and my friends say this, they say, Dotun, you are all things to all men. Because if you want, the way I'm speaking English now, if you allow me and we go into the market, I will get down low and I will speak Pidgin and I will speak Yoruba. You will almost not recognize that it's me. Because the side of me that spent a lot of time in Mushin and Surulere with my mother is still there. I can be down low and rude and raz and all of that, and I can be up here and bougie if you want me to. So my friends always like, Dotun, what is it? You can be bougie and you can be really, really hardcore low. But a lot of people don't understand it because I said, I lived a double life. And so that double life is what allows me to be I can be empathic to people because I can relate. I can relate to somebody that is in Mushi and I can relate to somebody that is high up because I've lived it, right? I can have a conversation with anybody. It does not matter. And so when people say some things don't faze me, I'm like, how can it faze me? Because there's certain things that people are particular about. I don't even see it. Maybe money, affluence, I don't see it. For me, it's a question of how is my life going to end up? This is the story that I have been dealt, but what can I change about it? And I remember when I found God early, it started to play a significant role I started looking for people that I could connect with. People, so you would see in that middle picture, I was standing with that was probably one of my first mentors. He was my teen church pastor. I was constantly looking for people that I could connect with, people that their lives were better, people that their lives had it figured out, people that they just stood for something, because I knew that I didn't want to be like where I was coming from. My life had to turn out differently. It had to turn out differently. And so if you go back to those the previous pictures, everything I did, even when I got to England, I told myself, I'm going to serve God. I'm not going to be distracted because I know where I'm coming from. If I mess up, I'm going to go back to where I'm coming from. And so things had to change. Things had to be different. I just knew that I couldn't end up the way, like the odds were set against me, right? I wasn't born with a silver spoon, that there was one silver spoon waiting for me. It was either God, 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 or nothing. And so I made that decision to hold on to God like my life depended on it as a 19-year-old. I would just be like, God, I just want to serve you because you had got, it became the only constant. That was the only thing that was constant. There were too many changes in my life. That was the only thing that was constant, and that was good. So like I said, the picture when I was, first picture, I was 24. Very intentional about my decisions, very intentional about even the person I was dating, very intentional. I said, look, I can't date somebody that doesn't believe that marriage is going to work. No, 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 I don't have that time because I can't let my kids go through the mess I went through. So I was very picky. I mean, even as I grew older, I was also very picky about helping other people. So I would, for instance, the picture where I was 35, I was holding a bike from a very young age. And I remember, I wish Happiness had one of the pictures where I was also 24 and I was working with teenagers. So shortly after I finished school, came back to Nigeria, I started working with teenagers from the age of, and people used to think, yeah, so you can guess, I already let the cat out of the back. I was 24 in this picture. The same age, I was 24. In fact, I think 25, 24, 25. because I told myself I had to help. People are dealing with things in their heads. People are dealing with situations. So you would look at this picture and think, maybe she's 30. No, that last picture, I was only 24. I didn't have it figured out, but I told myself, if I've been able to make it something out of myself, I need to be able to look back and help other people. I need to be able to help and be there for other people. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying here is that the same you right now that is 24 is the same, however you're living your life right now, is the same you that is going to show up when you're 30, 34, 35. Because the decisions that you are making is going to affect what is going to happen in the future. The decisions, I'm not saying we all don't have it messed up. So I've told you my own story, and there's so many parts of my story that I am not telling because time will not allow me say it. But the fact is, and I mean, just as a picture, the fact is that if you're in your 20s, you have to, in fact, you have to get it right. You have to tell yourself, I don't have a choice. I have to get it right. So if you have to connect yourself, in fact, I remember from when I was 24, I used to follow a lot of people that were older. I would listen to people. I crack a joke for you. Some people say singles like conference. I started going for singles conference. Please don't laugh, and please feel free to laugh. I started going for singles conferences when I was 17. Not because I was only 17. Please, what am I looking for a singles conference? I don't know. But I was so determined to get it right. I started going for career workshops when I was like 19, 20, because I said I have to find a way, because there's no daddy or somebody that's going to give me an opportunity for a job or that's going to help me. I need to make this work. All I have are the opportunities that are before me. So when I was 19, 20, university, I would go for career workshops. I would put my CV out there. I would apply for ridiculous jobs. When I was 17, I would spend my weekends going for singles conference. And some people will say, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know, because for me, I had no representation of what marriage was. I had no representation in my mind of how to build a home. And so I told myself, I have to learn from other people. I have to make the right decisions. There was nothing, the odds were set against me, because I knew that people like me, somebody said it's not odd to me. People like me, if you marry, check the statistics. The chances are you probably would not get it sorted. You probably will not, you will mess up that marriage because you never saw it done properly. So I surrounded myself with the right people. Now, I'm taking this back to decisions, the decisions that you make. If it does not matter where you're coming from, it does not matter what your story is, but every day you must tell yourself it's not about the big decisions. It is about the little decisions. And I can tell you many stories of failures for me along the way. It's about the little decisions. I remember, if you show that picture of me holding a mic when I was 24, in that picture, I remember I was 24. I think I had done a master's and I had failed at it. I had failed woefully. Yeah, people say, "Doesn't you failed?" I'm like, yeah, I failed. I failed woefully. In fact, my father, he wasn't very happy. I had failed at it. And I turned to my father. I think he was in England. He was in a very top school in England. I hadn't passed one of my exams, and so they had decided not to award me my master's degree. I turned to my father and he was like, "That's very unlike you." I said, "Well, maybe I'm tired because I'm trying to achieve too much." But I said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to redo that master's. I'm going to start from the beginning. He couldn't understand. He said, why? Why are you doing that? I said, because I have a future that I'm going and I need to get it right. Inside that failure, I remember, and it was a tough decision for me. I remember I think I had a car. I sold my car and I went back. I said, I'm going back. I'm going back to get this master's done. I'm going back to get it sorted. What I'm saying here is a lot of us face failures and we're just quick to throw in the towel and say, that's the end of it. I failed. You know what? I'm not going to go back and finish it. That's the end of it. And I don't know who I'm saying this for. But guess what? That you failed in your 20s, or maybe here you're on this call, maybe you're in your late 30s and you're like, you know what? It's okay. It's not that serious. Let me tell you, it's that serious. Your life and how you end up is formed by the decisions that you make every single day. And you have to understand the season of life that you're in. You must understand for you to move past where you are to where you're going. You must understand the sensitivity of the season of the life that you are in. And I will explain it to you because it makes you understand what the chosen company is about. Your season, the life that you are in, the season of the life that you're in, and understanding it makes you make a lot of decisions and make your results. Let me explain what I'm saying. I'm in a very particular season where I just turned 40. I have 3 young kids. They're 12, 9, and 4. My husband, his work requires that he travels a lot. But I'm also one person that I'm very intentional about my decisions. I'm very intentional about what I do. I want to be around my kids. I want to be present. I don't want to be, oh, she's not even listening to us. She's chasing a job. No, I want to be available. Now, but I'm also somebody that is very career driven. So I'm very driven. I'm like my goals. I have things in my head. But the truth is, it's easy for me to look at my friends. So there's some of my friends right now that are top level in their career, high level, maybe. And I mean, people argue and say, Dr. But you're doing very well. I'm like, well, there's certain things I want to be achieving. And I'm like, I wish I could do it. I could sit down and begin to compare myself to my friends and say, oh dear, this friend is already CEO or this friend is already maybe a special assistant to the governor or to the president. But I need to step back and ask myself a lot. And I say to a lot of my friends, in fact, let me use an example. One of my friends, I remember before she got married, she used to travel a lot. She had a good job. She used to travel a lot. And I used to side eye her. I'm like, oh dear, whatever. I used to side eye her. And today she's like, oh, I'm in Mauritius. Tomorrow I'm in Morocco. I'm like, whatever. But I could sit there and begin to compare myself to her. But she wasn't married. She didn't have children. She didn't have responsibility. She didn't have it. So she could travel whenever she wanted. And another one of my, remember, she used to buy a lot of fancy stuff. And I got married when I was 26, right? I think 27. Yeah, when I was 27. That's when I got married. So by the time I was 30, I had my first daughter. Now, some of my friends got married at 35, 36, 37. That's to show you that everybody's story is different. But this particular friend of mine, she used to buy a lot of fancy, nice stuff. And I'm one person where I like to celebrate people. I don't believe in beefing people. I just feel like if God has done it for you, then that means the same God that did it for you, he will do my own when it's my time. So why should I beef you? So I'm one person that when my friends achieve things, they're quick to come and tell me, I'm like, yes, you did it. Because in life, you have to be happy for people because I'm like, it's the same God. God is not partial. He did your own. When is my time? He will do my own, So I'm always celebrating people's wins. It's just the person that I am. So I remember she used to say she'll buy, she's like, I just bought this fancy. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I could sit there and compare myself to her. But guess what? I have responsibilities. I have school fees to pay. I have a child to take care of. My responsibilities are too much for me to be buying the fancy things. And we joke about it because when she eventually got married in her 30s, she didn't have time for those fancy things because like, look, Doctor, I have school fees to pay as well. My point here is, as in your 20s, if you sit down and begin to compare yourself to your friend that has this and has that, you would only kill yourself. You need to focus on your focus and stay on your lane. What is happening in your life right now in this instance? So if I go back to myself, the fact that I have young kids, if I'm trying to achieve something, I know I'm doing a mentoring session right now. It's 6 a.m., right? It's 6 a.m. right now. which means it's 12 o'clock in Lagos, for those that might be in Lagos. Imagine if I'm trying to do this mentoring session at 10 a.m. my time. It's impossible. My kids are up. They are calling me, Mommy, you need to cook. Mommy, you need to mop the floor, because that is my reality, right? That is the season of life that I am in. Or I start to go on Instagram and compare myself to my friend that just become special assistant to a governor. And maybe in the season of her life that she's in, her children are much younger than mine. She has help in Nigeria. Or I want to compare myself to my friend who is not married yet. She's going to get married and she has the time to run her career and do everything she wants to do. Why would I do that to myself? Why should I not just focus on my own focus and understand that the season of life I'm in means if I want to achieve something, I want to think, I should wake up at 4 a.m. because that's the only time I have to think and do. And so I tell myself every 2 hours every day, I maximize it. If I know the only time I can wake up is 3:45, that means I have to sleep. So when someone asks me, what time do you sleep? So I've been able to create a pattern in my life where it's like I do one day off, one day on. So one day I sleep 4 hours, the next day I sleep longer. One day on, one day off. One day I sleep 4 hours, the next day I sleep longer. Because that is what can work for me. I know that if I don't do, I don't want to be a frustrated mom, because if I don't want to be living my life through my children. So I got to do the things I want to mentor people. I have to be up by 5 a.m., by 4 a.m. I have to do what I need to do so that I can give back to somebody else. And that makes you know that these sessions are important to me. So if you're here, you're thinking, oh, she's not here to give value. These sessions are important to me because it's my joy to see somebody else flourish. Now, if I'm tying this back to you guys that are here, I'm asking you, what excuses are you making? In fact, what is your excuse? Because I've heard it all. What is your excuse? And I don't know what that excuse is, because I make excuses. I make a lot of you don't want to hear what my excuses are sometimes. My husband hears them. And my husband is a doer. When I make those, he rolls his eyes. He's like, did you just make that excuse? I make excuses, but the most successful people in life they are more intentional. The people that are successful don't have 2 heads. They don't have 3 heads. Your friends that are doing those things, they don't have 4 heads that has done that course. You think she has the time. She doesn't have the time. Or your friend that has managed, and you're looking at her thinking, this girl has done this. Wow. Oh, wow. She doesn't have the time, but she makes the time. She makes the time. You have to be intentional. Remember what I said. There are 3 sides of your story. What happened to you, which you don't have control over? What is happening to you right now? I know it's dependent on the first part, but what decisions are you making to correct right now? Right now. I tell Happiness, I'm like, look, I tell people, I say, yes, maybe you don't have somebody that can help you get a job. The opportunity that you have, are you showing up at that job with 150%? Or are you complaining about the job? I don't even like this job. I don't even whatever. Are you being rude to your boss? Those are the little things that count for you. Those are the little things that matter. Oh, I don't have money to go for masters right now. I can't do this. Okay, there's online course. What have you done? Online, and I know the online courses, some of them are free. Some of them, they'll tell you Udemy. Some of them will tell you Coursera. Come and do a 1-day master, something on Coursera, 10,000 naira. What have you done about it? Have you bothered to say, today, I'm not even going out. I'm not going to the cinema. Today, I'm going to do this course. I'm going to face it. I am going to, what's the one you can afford? What have you done about it? You know, some people might say, oh, Dotun, yeah, you can say that. I'll crack I'll tell you something very significant. People can open the door for you, but who leaves that door open is yourself. Somebody can get you a job, fantastic. But who is going to keep you in that job is yourself. I'll give you an example. I remember when I came back to Nigeria, NYSC, when I came back, I told myself, oh, I wanted to serve in a very good company. So I remember my father's making a call to somebody saying, oh, you know what? Let's see, maybe they can interview you and see if you get the job. I said, okay, no problem. Thank you. I went for that interview. And there's somewhere I'm going here. There's somewhere I'm going. I went for that interview. I did that job so well. I worked in that company. It was Deloitte. I worked in that company so well. Today, I crack a joke to people. Till today, they don't have a resignation letter from me. Because when I told my boss, when I told my partner I was going to leave, he said, I can't let you leave. Because that was when I was going back for my master's. I said, I want to leave, sir. And I was only 20. When I started that job, I was only 24. I was 24. I served there. After I served there, they retained me because my partner was like, this girl, you work too hard. They retained me. My point here is, yes, somebody can make a call and ask help you. But who's going to keep you in that job? It's not somebody, it's you. You are the one that's going to keep yourself in that job. I served in that company. They retained me. In fact, I remember so significantly, my first day there, my manager was so impressed. The next job he assigned me, because when you work in consulting, they assign you based on your level and based on your experience, right? So, for instance, for them, I would have been an entry level. That's what they would have taught me as an entry level, because I think I had my undergrad at the time, so I was entry level. But when my manager saw how much work I was putting in, he said, this girl is not entry level material. The next team that they were going to put me on, he put me on there as a manager. He said, no, nobody needs to know that you're not a manager, but the way your brain thinks, I'm going to put you on here as an assistant manager because I know you can produce that quality of work. My point here is somebody can make a call for you, but who is the person that is going to be promoted and advanced in your job? And in fact, I remember I was serving, but the amount of work I was giving, I remember complaining to my manager. I was like, I'm only serving. You guys are giving me so much, you're paying me. And he said, you're going to do the job because I know you can do it. You're going to do that job because I know that it's not, yes, it's not about the pay. So sometimes this Gen Z generation, you're so focused on, oh, the odds must be good. Oh, my manager must talk to me nicely. Oh, what are they even paying? At the end of the day, you are developing yourself. Every skill that you learn is going to stay with you. Nobody's going to open your brain and take it out of you. The contacts, the networks that you're building, nobody's going to take it from you. So I remember sitting in that role and working so hard. In fact, I crack a joke because on my 25th birthday, when I went to see my manager and I said to him, oh, tomorrow is my birthday. He said, oh, how old are you turning? I said, oh, and then he joked, he said, you're turning 35. I said, no, sir, I'm turning 25. He almost flipped out of his chair because he was like, you're only 25? How are you only 25? And you're carrying the shoulders of somebody that is in their 30s. How you show up in your 20s is how you're going to be in your 30s. There is nothing that has changed about me. I'm the same person. The way I have been in my 20s is the same person in my 30s, is the same person now that I'm in my 40s, maybe with more wisdom and experience, but it's the same me. That job, when it was time for me to go, he said, ask for sabbatical. I'm not collecting a resignation letter from you because I want you such that tomorrow, if you ever want to come back into this company, the door is always open for you. Back to what I said, they can call for you. Your parents can help you. But who keeps the opportunity open? Who pushes? You don't have money for masters. Fantastic. What have you done with where you are sitting? People will advertise. The fact, honestly, I celebrate you guys because this is a free mentoring. I'm not charging you. Some people thought to themselves, 10 a.m. on Saturday, what am I even doing? Please, I beg. You just closed the opportunity to where you are going because on this platform, you've met some people. On this platform, so you've expanded your network. And that is what it's all about. Life is not going to just drop on your shoulders. You have to be intentional about life. I'm telling you, you have to be intentional. You must be intentional. You must, I don't know how to say it. I don't know the odds that are set against you, but people that are successful don't have 5 heads. And that's what I told him. I said, the people that are making it in life, they don't have 2 heads. They don't have 3 heads. They only have 1 head. This 1 head. That's all they have. That's all. And I'm going to end with saying something that is very unique. I say to people all the time. I remember, I think when I was in my 30s, I went through a life shift, for lack of a better word, a shift where, so for those that may not know, and I will talk about this later. Both my parents now are unfortunately, both of them are late. Both of them have passed on. My dad has passed on, my mom has passed on. They passed on within 2 years of each other. So that's another situation of my life where I had to deal with grief. I had to find myself all over again because I was very close to my mom. My mom and I were like 5 and 6. And when she passed on, I wasn't there. I was away. In fact, when both my parents passed on, I was away. My father passed on. They called me to come and see him in England. And we had been, I mean, there was a lot of quarrel around us around that time because you see, there's something you have to understand about parents, and I'm a parent. We want to help you as much as we can. We want to, protect you. I was going through a season where one day I just woke up. I think I was being challenged at my work, my finances. And I asked myself, I looked at some of my friends who don't have, and I'm sure some of you have those friends where they don't have any father helping them, but they're just hardworking. They're just doing, they're just pushing. They're just pushing and they are making it. They're just pushing. So I sat down one day and I asked myself, I said, this friend of mine does not have anybody that is helping them and they're making it in life. Me, in fact, let me rewind. My father was very poor. He worked as a houseboy. I'm that person, yeah. My father worked as a houseboy to make it in life. And I felt like I was depending on something to make it. So one day I told myself, I said, hold on. The people that don't have anybody to help them are making it in life. So what is my own? What is wrong with me? I have education. I have a brain. I can speak English. So why am I not making something of myself? What is my problem? Some of you need to ask yourself, what is it that is wrong with you? Why have you not? Ask yourself that question. And it's a very interesting question because unless you are true to yourself, no other person can tell you the truth. You are the only one that can tell yourself the truth. You are the only one. So somebody, for instance, and I remember speaking to someone, I'm not going to use on this platform. She was saying, I want to be accountable. I want to achieve my goals. And I say something to all of you here. No other person can hold you accountable for your goals but yourself. Because guess what? All of us on this platform, I don't know how many of us are here, we are all on a journey, all of us. I am on my journey in life. Yes, I'm here to mentor you, but understand that as I'm here, I also have goals in my head that I'm trying to achieve. I have things that I'm trying to achieve. But if I say that I'm going to depend on somebody to hold me accountable for my own goals, there's a problem. Because guess what? What we can do is to come in a community, be accountable for each other, hold ourselves accountable. But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, in the morning, when it's in the morning and it's time for you to attend that training, and you choose to turn to the other side, or maybe you tell yourself, I have a fitness goal, and you choose to tell yourself, oh, please, I can't even kill myself. It is yourself. It's not the community that you're accountable to. No other person can tell yourself the truth but yourself. No other person can show up for you but yourself. You are the one person that must show up for yourself. Stop saying, oh, somebody made the decision. Oh, I couldn't do it because whatever decision you need to make, whatever goal you need to have for yourself, you must do it for yourself. Don't do it for a mentor. Don't do it for your parents. Do it for yourself and ask yourself, how am I going to end up? Because 75% of how I'm going to end up is dependent on you. Yes, life has thrown you so many things, but 75% of how you are going to end up is dependent on you. The decisions that you're making now, today, in this moment, in this second, when you get up and you tell yourself, I want to eat right, or you choose to make a decision, the small decisions, I'm going to drown a bottle of Coke instead, when you know that very well your health cannot carry that bottle of Coke. It's the small decisions. It's the small decisions, the tiny ones, that determines how your 2025 is going to plan out. It's not the big, forget about it, it's not the big decisions. And I will give you a classic example of is the small decisions. A lot of my friends say, oh, you're so big on, health, your fitness. I'm one person, I like to exercise. I don't even, I feel like I'm weird, but I like to exercise. But I think 3-4 years ago, I realized that I didn't have the time because my kids were young. I didn't have the time. But I started asking myself, okay, you don't have the time. Good job, you don't have the time. You cannot find 30 minutes to exercise in your life, in this one life that you have. You cannot find 30 minutes. I said, guess what? I realized that the only 30 minutes I have in my life to exercise is 5:30 in the morning. Because guess what? I have to wake my kids at 6:30. So this is my routine. I wake up every day. Some days I wake up earlier. Some days I sleep late. Then I sleep in till 6. Depends. Like I said, I have an on-off routine where one day I sleep 5 hours. The next day I sleep longer. One day I alternate my sleeping pattern and my body is used to it. So let me give a classic example of a Monday. Or let's say, let me use my Tuesday as a typical example. If I wake up at 3:45, I wake up, I read my Bible, I pray. At 5:15, I am on my way to the gym because I have to wake my kids at 6:30. So I need 30 minutes to exercise because I know that my health is important. It is important. If I can, in 24 hours, I cannot find 30 minutes to exercise, then that's a problem. 30 minutes to exercise. There's a problem now. Then what am I doing with myself? Some of us, you will sit on Instagram, you will scroll for 30 minutes. We would carry our phone. You don't even know that 30 minutes has gone, 30 minutes of your life has gone past. Meanwhile, there's a course that they told you to come and attend and you have not done it. You have scrolled on Instagram for 30 minutes. Or some of us, your boss says, oh, who can come to the meeting early or who can do something? Or you're looking for a job. You have not spent your time looking, searching, or you have not even started by volunteering in your church. You know what? I don't have a job right now. 30 minutes, 1 hour. You don't know the skills that you're learning from that volunteering. You do not know. Like I said, 24, at the age of 24, I was volunteering in Teens Church every Sunday. And that's when I knew I had a gift of speaking from volunteering. You just think, oh, I don't have a job. That's the end of it. I don't have masters. So I don't have money for my hair. So that's the end of it. Finish. There's nothing I can do. That's it. I'm just going to sit. Some of us will spend our time sitting. You will watch a series. One weekend. You will watch a series. 2 hours on Saturday, 2 hours on Sunday. And you cannot stand up and go to the gym. Forget even about gym. You cannot go for a walk, 1 hour walk. Leave your phone at home and just go for a 1 hour walk, please. If I'm speaking to somebody, let me know. You cannot just stand up and just go. You have spent 2 hours. 2 hours. 2 hours on series or watching YouTube African magic movie. I don't even know what to call it. But you cannot go for a walk 45 minutes to help your future self so that your 70-year-old self will thank you. Not only that, not only would you sit down for 2 hours, you will now be drinking Coke and eating popcorn. Oh my God, I feel like I'm puzzled. I don't understand. You will sit down. Oh, it's a free movie. Well done. It's a free movie. Can you see that sometimes free is the problem? Free is the problem. You will sit down on your chair. It's Friday night now. I can chill. Meanwhile, you had a goal to write a book. Friday night to write a book, or I'm not saying don't enjoy your life. That's fine. It's okay. Enjoy it. You have a goal for yourself. Life is not that serious. Allow me to enjoy myself. Life, no problem. Enjoy yourself. You will spend 2 hours on Friday night. Let me understand this. 2 hours on Friday night, 10 p.m. 2 hours on Saturday night, 2 hours on Sunday night. watching free Netflix and chill. You will now drink a bottle of Coke, or you eat a bowl of rice, or you will now eat popcorn. Then you will now wake up on Monday, say, see this fat woman. God, what am I going to do about myself? God, what am I? Do you know? I never said don't do Netflix and chill. If you just do 40, I'm going to go for a walk. In fact, the next time starts by doing, I'm going to do Netflix and chill. As I'm walking, I'm going to be walking and watching Netflix and walk on the road and do Netflix and chill. You've just, maybe you would clock 10,000 steps. Maybe you would do something. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Somebody, and when people say to me, what, I spent 6 hours as a Gen Z doing Netflix and chill. You just, yes, but guess what? You just lost 6 hours of your life. 6 hours of your future self. This is what I always tell myself, and maybe I'm hardcore. I just gave out 6 hours of my future self to an activity that does not count to my future self. How is my future self going to tell me thank you? Please help me. How? By adding to the numbers, the watch time of somebody's series, adding to the, they will say so, adding to the watch time of somebody's series, you have helped somebody else. Meanwhile, you have not helped yourself. So that's why I tell myself, if I cannot find 30 minutes to exercise for myself and for my future self, there's a problem. Then that means my future self is not important to me. My future self does not count. My future self will not say thank you to me. So guess what? Every day, I may not feel like it. In fact, some days I don't even want, I'm not in the mood. I'm waking up and I'm angry. I'm like, why do I have to exercise? But my future self must tell me thank you. 30 minutes, I will do that exercise. Once it's done, because I could have been spending my 30 minutes scrolling on my Instagram. And a lot of us do. I'm telling you this. A lot of us have Instagram time. You would put it Instagram 30 minutes, but you don't have exercise time. Or you don't have time for 30 minutes. I want to write a book. Or even some of us, you don't have time to, okay, let me even go out. Let me carry myself out and meet other young people, or network, or volunteer, or do something. Or you will do Netflix and chill so much. On a Sunday morning, you decide, I'm not even going to church because you did. Do not let me continue this part. Because as I'm saying it, I'm even angry with. I know I'm hardcore, but what I'm here to say is 20 to 30 is that age you can begin to awaken, or maybe 20 to 35 is that age you can begin to tell yourself, yes, this was my lot in life. This is what I was given. But how can I change it? How can I correct it? How can I change the order of things? And it starts with the small things, the little things, the minute things. I'm going to use people in the Bible, even the Davids in the Bible. David said, I killed the bear. I killed the lion. And that's why I could kill Goliath. They just didn't give him Goliath one day. It started with the small things. Joseph, who was sold into slavery, he was 17, 18, 19, in his 20s. I believe he was in his 20s when Potiphar's wife, he could have done what he had to do with Potiphar's, but he said to himself, I am not going to do it. They say about Joseph, even in the prison, he was excellent. In the prison. Imagine if Joseph used to just spend his life sleeping away in the prison. How would he have been able to interpret dream for those people? He interpreted that dream free, pro bono, literally. The dreams he interpreted, he did not ask them. He said, I will do it for you. Just remember me. Please, I will interpret the dream. Just remember me. Somebody is asking you to come and do something, and you are late. You are showing up in a careless way. How do they want to mention your name to that job tomorrow? There's a young girl. Oh, she's very hardworking. You need to see her. If she does something for you, it starts from the little things. The little things that you do today. It starts from it all adds up. Your decisions today affects what happens tomorrow. And do it for who? Yourself. Don't do it for every other person. Let your future self thank you. Right? Now, I think, I hope I've not broken anybody's table. But that really for me is hold on, I'm trying to read the messages. Yeah. This really for me is the fundamental value of everything that I do, everything that I am. And I hope that somebody learns from this. It's not to throw shade at any of us, but it's to make us know that we can change the direction, we can change. And the first thing probably, and this is going to be my first assignment to all of us that are in this group, I'm going to ask that everybody, if you can, stay on all the way till the end. This is going to be my first assignment to all of us in this group. Happiness is going to share the assignment. We're going to ask, because sometimes you have weaknesses. It's those weaknesses that maybe it's hampering on you making progress. And I tell people I have weaknesses. In fact, you don't want to know my weakness. You don't want to know my weaknesses. I have weaknesses, but when you understand your weaknesses, it helps you know how to show up. So I'll give you an example, what my weakness is. I'm one person where I can change my mind very quickly. I can be lazy, and I know it sounds weird, but I can be lazy. I can be very lazy. Like I just like I can't even shout. I can't kill myself. It's not that serious. So because I know that I'm one person that I can change my mind and I can be lazy sometimes, I put things in place to help me not be lazy. So let me use my exercise life, for instance. And these are things that kind of make you know you have to understand yourself. Exercise life, for instance, the place where I exercise, you have to sign up for the classes 2 days before, 1 day before. The classes are free, so you have paid for the month. If you don't show up for that class, they will charge you for not showing up. So the lazy person in me wakes up thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be charged because I don't want to lose money. And that is me. I have come to understand myself. And so because I've come to understand myself, I put measures in place that help against those weaknesses that I have. You see what I'm saying? I'll give you another example. I'm a snacker. So people know me, know I love to snack. Like I can snack for Africa. I love biscuits. I don't eat food. Now, if you come to my house and you're looking for biscuits, you will not find it because that's a weakness. You see, that is a weakness. In fact, I'm so bad. If you open my fridge, there was a time when now I probably have overcome that. You would never see fizzy drinks in my fridge. You won't see a bottle of Coke in my fridge because I know that the me inside me wants to grab that Coke and drink that Coke. You know what I mean? So I stopped buying it. I just told myself, this is a weakness. We're not going to do it anymore. In fact, that's the end of it. You know, I don't drink a lot of water. So you would see me, there's always water around me. There's always something to help me overcome. My point here is we all have weaknesses, but you have to even be intentional about overcoming your weakness. We all have weaknesses. You can't say this is a weakness, and so I am going to live with it. Do you see what I'm saying? We all have weaknesses, but we must be intentional about overcoming those weaknesses, right? So our assignment this week, and I'm going to really, in fact, I'm going to stop now and I'm going to speak about the chosen company. And then I'm going to tell us what our assignment this week is, because I want us to think about everything that I have said, every single thing I've said, and then begin to work on your mind and work on going forward. You know what I mean? So whilst I ask for them to bring up the slides, I'm just gonna ask I'm gonna read the messages. Somebody said a wake-up call really goes back to what decisions I'm making today. Haven't listened to everything you've said. Honestly, this is a wake-up call. Thank you so much, guys. So let's talk about the chosen company, because I feel like I've taken a lot of time and I'm really grateful that you guys are here. So let's talk about chosen company. What is the chosen company? What is the chosen company? And please, for those that are here, I'm going to leave tips at the end. I'm going to leave a few things at the end on how to be part of this community. Like Happiness said, we're going to be here for the next 9 months. The rule is once we start, we start. So after this session, once you're in the group, you're in the group. When I have the monthly sessions, you can have your friends join the monthly sessions, but the group, like the mentoring group, is a closed group. After this, maybe if they miss this session, they can rewatch this. And then Happiness is going to put out some questions to let you know if you've watched this session. Once you've watched the session, once I start, we start. The group is going to be closed, and that's how the group is going to be for the next 9 months. Okay, so I'll tell you about the chosen company and how I basically, this came to my mind, the chosen company is a group of women who intentionally come together to be mentored, grow together on their journey of purpose. So the point is, I want mentored women that will mentor other women. My hope is that from this group, you are 20, 30s, eventually you are able to become your own person, that you can look back and even mentor somebody else. You give back the same gift that you're given. So, and the only way, you see, we all need to be accountable to ourselves. I say to myself, you guys think you're here to be mentored, but you don't understand that I'm also accountable to you. So I can't afford to mess up because you guys are here. So I'm accountable to you. So you, in this group, and I'll really explain it. I'm a Christian, so a lot of the things that I speak about in this group are based on the foundation of God. It's very critical that it's based on the foundation of God. There is nothing that I can say or do. That is nothing that I have become. All the wake-up calls I tell you are maybe wake-up calls when I'm praying and I'm telling God, I'm struggling, and God is telling me you need to start exercising. They're all things that I learned on my knees. I pray a lot. I'm a person of prayer. I don't joke in my prayer time. I don't joke in reading my Bible. And that is one of the values that I'm really, really going to pass to a lot of the ladies and people that are on this group. The goal of prioritizing your time with God. It all starts with God. And I remember when the chosen company came on me, and I really thought to myself, I want to do this. This was like about 2 years ago. If you know the story of David, everybody knows the story of David in the Bible. It says in the Bible, and maybe I will share this more in the next session, next month. If you know the story of David in the Bible, it says that David had a lot of people, the weak people came to him. So after he killed Goliath, a lot of the weak people came to him. And it says in the Bible that all of them became mighty men. So there's a story about the mighty men that surrounded David. Now, those mighty men were actually very weak people. They came to David, and David was able to mentor them and teach them skills that he had, that all of them, in fact, a lot of them became giant slayers. A lot of them became giant, they did great things. They became warriors. I honestly believe that this generation there are a lot of amazing, great women in this generation. And I don't see the opportunities that I've had as a joke. A lot of people mentored me. A lot of people, I still have mentors till today. But I want to be able to give people the same skills that I learned. I want 20, 30-year-olds that can rise, that tomorrow they will be the ones mentoring my own daughters. I have 3 daughters. They will be the one mentoring my own daughters. They would also stand tall as great women. I don't want to get to the top. Some people say I want to get to the top and be the only one they know. I want to get to the top and have a lot of people on that table. I want to get to the top and look behind me and see warriors on hills, warriors in heels on that table. That's when I want to get there and see so many warriors around me that say, look, you know what? Life is not for the faint-hearted, but I made it. I'm sitting here because I practiced a lot of the things that I said. So I'm literally sharing from myself things that I have learned, things that I'm still learning. And I'm hoping that this company, it's not a company like a organization. No, it's a company. It's a group of people that have intentionally said, I'm going to be selective about the people around me. The people around us, we are on a journey of life. And so we are going to be intentional about what we do. And that is what the Chosen Company is about. It's a very strong group of women. In this session, from next month, I'm going to have a few of my friends. So the entire group, you're going to be broken into small groups. You will have some of my friends also mentoring throughout the entire 9 months. It requires a lot of commitments. You would have assignments monthly. It won't be a lot of assignments, but it's just things that's just going to make you think about, okay, what am I doing? Those my friends that would be mentors, you would have your own smaller groups, maybe like 2-3 people in a group, and they will be able to share tips as well. Some of them I'm going to bring them on to also remember what I said. I don't have a lot of friends. So the few friends I have, I'm very, very intentional about my circle. I mean, people know that I'm very intentional because they say that you only show me the 5 people around you and I will show you what your future is going to be like. So if you see somebody in my circle, I've intentionally put the person there because maybe their life speaks to something that I don't have, or they're inspiring something in me. And so I'm going to bring a few of them into the mentoring session. They would be in your smaller groups. You would have assignments. I wanted to see my slides, please. You would have assignments weekly and monthly, actually monthly. And then once a month, either myself would come and meet everybody, or another one of my friends will be here to meet everybody. And then in your group, your mentor would also be able to meet you. You know, maybe you would jump on a call once a month and she can share some things that that they know might help. So the idea of the Chosen Company is we want mentored women that will mentor other women. In 2 years, you can say to me, Mrs. V, you know what? Let's bring on more 20, or let's bring on. So this is a 9-month long journey that I hope that would add value to you in 2025. Remember, I did this for the first time in 2 years ago. The ladies that did it with me learned a lot. I'm doing this again. So we're constantly going to be improving and building on it. The next slide, please. Oh, yeah, we already know that. We know who I am. Next slide, please. Yes, we already know that the vision is to empower, enable, and envision the journey of other women. It's just to be able to help. You know, I don't know whatever stage you're in. Now, it's to say that even in this community, within us, you might be able to help somebody else. You might build friendships here. I know we're all online, but there's a way I will tell you there's some online groups that I've built friendships from. There's a way somebody might say something and you might connect with them, you know, so build a friendship, build connections in here as well. For women to have lifelong friendships, for them to be inspired and encouraged by other older women. So we are all on a journey together. So there might be something that you're doing that might inspire me, and there might be something that I'm doing that might inspire you as well. Next slide, please. Okay. I'm waiting for the next slide. You guys help me here. Oh, they put this picture. Okay. I'll come back to that picture. Now, this is what I say. Who are the Chosen Company women? We are seed, we are light, and we're salt. You're seeds because never look at yourself and say, oh, I'm a seed. What is going to know? What does a seed do? You multiply. A seed will multiply. What does a light do? You shine in a room. Now, you don't necessarily have to be a big room. But you know what I say to people? In a world, if there's a room that is full of darkness and you bring one candle into that room, you would say that room is no longer dark. You would say that room is dark, but there's one light in it. So you are a light. So wherever you find yourself in your job, in your family, You have to live your life as a light. You have to be intentional about, I am going to shine. So for instance, whatever decision you're making, if some of you here are planning, I mean, some of you here might be about to get married. Some of you here might still be maybe waiting to say, oh God, when is the husband going to come? You have to understand that you are a light, you're a salt. And so whoever you're going to connect yourself with, that means that that person must also be light. I'm intentional, I'm a salt, I'm here to sweeten things. So in your friendships and in wherever you go, you're not going there to bring strife. You're not going there to gossip. No, you're going there to add value. So TCC women, you're a seed, you're light, you're salt. There's something different about you, and you have to always live with that in mind, right? Next slide, please. I'm waiting. Okay. Okay, so it manifest is not a physical event. It's 1 year long, like I said. The hope is that by the end of December, obviously, the journey would have been over. But what I'm asking is, whatever goal you set for yourself this year, put this group as one of those things that is going to form what is going to help you achieve your goals. So you will have to, you might have goals. Some of the things I would say will inspire something in you to achieve those goals. Or another mentor, your mentor might say, might be something that inspires you, but there will be monthly meetings. Now, another thing to say about us and chosen company women, we don't compare ourselves. It's not about comparing with this person. Remember what I said, understand your season. What season are you in life? Stay in that season, embrace that season, and do what is best for you for that season. Okay, next slide. I think I'm done with the slides. Yes, we encourage, we mentor, we point ourselves to God. So remember what I said, it's all about God. In this group, everything I'm going to teach is going to be God-based, Bible-based. You're probably going to take God more seriously, because I say you can't achieve goals outside of God. And that is a big deal for me. Okay. Next. Okay. So what I'm going to say is, remember what I said after this session. So if you have a friend that they want to join, they can still join, but you have to watch this. You literally have to, for those that have been here, you will be able to be in the entire mentoring. If somebody is already in the WhatsApp group and you missed this session, and I'm saying it, unfortunately, we're going to kick you out of the group. You're going to be kicked out of the group unless you watch the entire session. The purpose of this session really is, if you're not part of something from the beginning, then how do you want to know what we're doing? You know what I mean? So you need to watch the entire session. And if you want to join, you're here, you want to join, you can register. You'll be added to the WhatsApp group. And then from next month, we're having next month session is going to be interesting, because I'm going to have some of my friends come and talk about what I would tell my 20-year-old self. So 20-year-old self, 25-year-old self, a message to my 20-year-old self is next month's session. And it's from there, we're going to be broken into smaller groups as well. So if you want to join, that's how you can. Okay. You can find us on Instagram. It's The Chosen Company. Or you can even follow me. I feel like if you follow me, you probably will eventually find Chosen Company. So if you find my Instagram, that will be fine. Just look for my name, and then you'll be able to find me on Instagram. Happiness, what else? Is that all? I think that is it from me. Yes, the other thing is Happiness likes to hamper this. I send out weekly letters. So I send out like a newsletter I've been sending out for the last 2 years. And it's really just to make you think about living your best life. You have to live your life intentionally. If you would like to sign up for those letters, you get them every Sunday from me. I call them my happy letters. Feel free to scan and yeah, sign up for them. Otherwise, I'm really, really excited. And I want to say thank you guys for being here. Happy International Women's Day. I don't know if anybody has a comment. yeah, and on behalf of the entire team, Happiness, who's also a mentee here, I want to say thank you. And I know there's a picture that they've been trying to show of me right now and all the balls that I juggle, and that is my family picture. So you guys can feel free to show my family picture. Those are my 3 kids, and that is my husband, and that is really who I am. So you guys wanted to show a picture. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yes, that is me. That is all 5 of us in one picture. Those are my 3 daughters, my husband, and my kids. And I'm not saying that I'm there, but for me, the season of life that I'm in, this is the season of life I'm in. So everything I do is around this season. And so I don't know the season of life that you're in. And I really want to use this picture to speak about something. There is a value that is important that we stand for in Chosen Company, and that is God, kingdom, and legacy. I say to people, the season of life that you're in really speaks about what your kingdom is. So for you, you might be single. The season of life might be you're building your career. The season of life might be that you're about to get married. The season of life is that you're about to build your home. The season of life might be that you just finished school, so you're looking for a job. So you're in a season of life where you're job hunting, you're job searching. So you're in a season of life that requires a lot of training. I don't know the season of life that you're in, but you must understand that season. And that really is what influences every decision that you make. Thank you guys so much. Okay. Okay, if anybody wants to unmute or say something, that would be fine. Otherwise, I'm just going to... I'm reading the chat messages. Okay, I've seen the messages. Okay. Okay. I'm going to end the session today with a prayer. I'm just seeing people's messages. Okay. I'm going to end today's session with a prayer. And if you guys can please bow your heads and pray with me. Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you so much for every single lady that is here and is going to watch this session. I want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share. Thank you, God, for your faithfulness and for your goodness. Thank you, God, because you know all of us by name. Thank you, God, because you're with us. Father, I just want to praise your name, oh God. Father, I pray right now for every single lady that has heard the words that I've shared. I know we're all in different seasons of our lives. We're all in different seasons. I'm praying to you that you will help us. Your word says that I know the plans that I have for you, plans of good, to give you a future and a hope. Lord, the plans that you have for us, help us to make the right decisions to bring them to pass. Help us to make the right decisions to build the future from today. Lord, we cannot do it by ourselves. I cannot do it by myself. I ask, oh God, that you would help us. I ask, oh God, that you will keep the wrong people away from us and surround us with the right people. I pray for these ladies that as David raised an army of warriors, that these ladies will look back at these seasons of their lives and they will see a transformation. They will see a difference. They will understand, oh Lord, that, they don't have to be weak, but they are strong in you. They would understand that you've made them beautiful and unique. And I pray for that one person whose story is so painful. The story that they're coming from is so painful. I pray that you will help them to heal. You will help them to forgive. You will help them move forward. You will help them move forward into the future that they're going, oh God. I pray, God, that you will touch lives. I pray you will surround them with the right people. I pray, oh Lord, that it does not matter what the past was, but that the future of these ladies will be great. that their future, because your word says that the future is bright. He says that I may give you a future and a great end. I pray for these ladies, oh God, that Father, it does not matter where they're coming from or the mistakes that they've made, that the ability to be able to build for the future, you will give to them, oh God. The grace to be able to say that where I am right now does not matter. I have a God who is in me, and through him I can do all things. Through him I can do all things. I pray, Lord, that you will give to these ladies, oh God, and I pray that they will have a change of mindset. Where there are weaknesses will be turned to strength. Weaknesses will be turned to strength, and that your name will be glorified, that they will live a fulfilling life. They will live a fulfilling life. They will see themselves through your eyes. I will see myself through your eyes. I pray they will see themselves through your eyes. I pray for that one person who feels alone, that loneliness will not get the best of them. Loneliness will not get the best of them. I pray for that one person who needs somebody to open a door for them, that you will send helpers of destiny. You will send helpers of destiny, people that will speak their name in a room, somebody that needs a job. Lord, you will make a way. You will help us to be diligent women. You will help us to be diligent. We will raise our heads. We will build for the future. We will not build for today, but we will build for the future, that our future selves will say, thank you. I pray that the Holy Spirit will guide us. I pray that the Holy Spirit will help us. I pray that the Holy Spirit will help this generation of women, that, Lord, things will be different, oh Lord. I pray for marriages. You will send the right husbands. You will keep the wrong men away. I pray for those that are already married, that you will keep their home. Lord, I pray for grace. I pray, God Almighty, for grace, the grace that you've helped me with. You will help these ladies. And I pray for those that will watch these videos, that the next 9 months be life-changing for them, oh Lord. Thank you, Father, because you know us by name. Before we were born, you knew us. The very hairs on our head are numbered. And that means there's no detail, no mistake that has gone through our lives that is an accident. You know it, Lord, and you will use it for your purpose and for your good. Thank you, Father, for answered prayers, because I know you always hear us you always hear us when we pray. Thank you, Father, for in Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen. Thank you, guys. Happiness, over to you. Thank you, guys. Happy International Women's Day. Let me say that. Happy International.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Happy International Women's Day, everyone.
Happy International Women's Day to you too. Thank you so much, Mark. God bless you.
You guys. Happy International Women's Day. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. I think now I'm going to ask them to, as we sign off, to play the song. There was a song that we played at the beginning. And I want you to remember that song as you go away. And that's what I'm going to go off with. Thank you guys so much. Yums. They're going to play the song. We're waiting for the song. Okay, Happiness, I don't know if you have the song, but I'm just going to mute and let you guys play it.
Could ever need, so I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna stay just the way God made me. I'm not gonna take any more of voices of my enemies today. Oh, when my feet on solid ground, I'm gonna turn it all around. Because it's time I realized I'm truly beautiful inside. How long can I hide away beneath this disguise? And what drastic measures do I have to take to realize that I am amazing in spite of what I can see? When I look at myself, wishing I could be anyone other than me. 'Cause I was created with everything I could ever need, so I'm not gonna when I look at myself, wishing I could be anyone other than me. 'Cause we are amazing. If only we could believe that it's all in His hands. We're a part of a plan that's much bigger than us. Yes, we are amazing, and there's nothing we can't achieve, and we don't need to change. So I'm gonna stay just the way God made me. Not gonna listen to the voices of my enemies today.
Maybe there's a reason to believe you'll be okay. 'Cause when you don't feel strong enough to stand, but you can reach out your hand.
And oh, someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home. Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground,
You will be found to let the sun come